Hi everyone, it's John from What Up. Welcome back to another video and happy Wheel of Time Day. Yes, the fan event was today, and if you don't know what that is, we're going to talk about it a whole lot in tonight's video. So if you're as excited as I am about the third season of the Wheel of Time premiering March 13th, if you're just following the news, or if you just love the Wheel of Time, consider making us your home for Wheel of Time news. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, tell 30 of your friends. We are less than 275 subscribers away from my goal of 25,000. So we're definitely going to be doing that contest very, very soon. In fact, I'll probably start it shortly this week because I imagine we'll hit 25K really soon. But yeah, thank you so much for all the support, all the kind comments and words, the messages I'm receiving from you folks, and sharing the channel around too. Couldn't have done this without you folks, and I really do appreciate it. So what are we talking about today? We're going to talk about the fan event that happened today. So we'll talk about what it was, how you could have signed up, and what you can still see. We're going to talk a bit about what you're going to see from me in the coming week or so here on the channel, and what you'll see during the actual season drop. So if you haven't been through a season drop with me before, and I know a lot of you haven't because there's a ton of new faces here, we're going to detail what that is, and we'll talk a bit about that contest, when we're going to start it, what's going to go on with that. So yeah, so what happened today? Well, it was a fan event, folks, and we're not going to spoil a ton from the fan event because we don't want to do that, but I will outline what it was and what you got to see. So essentially what it was a few days ago, or about a week or two ago now, you could have signed up for this global fan event. And the global fan event required you to have an email address, and that's it. So you didn't have to actually pay money to Prime. You didn't have to subscribe to it. I thought it was an absolute stroke of genius with the marketing because what it let people do is you get to see two behind-the-scenes segments, one for Season 1, one for Season 2. They talk about a lot of different things, and we'll get into what they talked about in those in a second. You also get to see the full first episode of Season 3, which was wild, that they released that to non-paying customers of Prime everywhere. And then afterwards, you get to see my favorite innkeeper, Matt Hatch, interview Rafe Judkins, the showrunner, Rosamund Pike, who plays Moraine, and a bunch of the other cast on stage in London. So there was a fan event in London a few weeks ago where Matt was the moderator. They included the Q&A from that in this live fan event too. Now, when I say it was live, it really truly was. It started at 10 Pacific, which was about 2 p.m. my time, and it ran for, I want to say, probably 3 hours-ish. And you had to be there live with it because there was a live chat, and there were, I don't know how many people attended this thing, and I don't even know if they're ever going to release some metrics on it, but it felt like tens of thousands, if not more than that, watched this after seeing it explode in social media today. So if anyone out there knows anything about the metrics, I couldn't find any, but if you can figure something out about it, leave in the comments down below because I'd love to discuss that in another video. Yeah, so it was live. So there was a live chat that scrolled by at the time when you were watching these things. People interacted with each other. It was super fun. I actually recognized a few people within the live chat and got to chat with a couple of people here and there. It was really very neat. So yeah, so that's what we got to see today, and that lasted for about 3 hours or so. So right now, a ton of people have already seen episode 1. And there are spoilers everywhere about it, folks. There are spoilers all over every social media site and on the internet. So if you don't like spoilers, you probably don't watch my channel, but they're everywhere. I myself, in this particular video, will not be doing any spoilers. This is going to be a spoiler-free video. We're going to talk about things in a very general sense, and there's a reason for that, and I'll talk about that in a second, and it's a very exciting reason. But, yeah, so the two behind-the-scenes featurettes that were there, they're still on Prime right now. So if you are a subscriber to Prime Video, you can go to Wheel of Time Season 3. You can do the drop-down box for the extras, and then there is behind-the-scenes for Season 1 and Season 2. And there was some really good information in there. And I actually got some comments from people who sent me comments or talked to me on social media today after the event that they're book fans, but they didn't enjoy the show. And I know if there are a number of you out there that watch the channel didn't really like the show too much. For whatever reason or another, but these behind-the-scenes featurettes explained a lot of the decisions they made and why things happened, which I've done here on the channel before, but a lot of people had heard it for the first time, especially from Rafe Judkins' mouth, and they were like, oh, it kind of makes sense now why they made those decisions that I maybe didn't like so much. So the Season 1 featurette started right from inception, right where Moraine had called Rafe, Rosamund Pike, who is synonymous in my mind with Moraine, called Rafe and said, I like this character, I want to do this, to which he was blown away at. All the way up through to the break for COVID, the multiple breaks for COVID, rather. There was a 6-month break there for COVID, and plus another small one later on. the frustrations and the tribulations and trials they had with that, where they lost locations, they lost sets, they lost time. They didn't know if they'd ever be back. A lot of shows, when COVID happened, they just got canceled. They didn't start filming again. So there's a lot of talk about the stress of that. And so because of COVID, there was kind of a crunch on when they finished season one, the end of season one, where they had to make do with what they had, coupled with the fact they lost one of the main characters. So Barney Harris, who played Matt, left the show after episode 6. He didn't come back for filming, and they didn't have time to recast him. They didn't have time to set that up, and they didn't have time to wait. They couldn't just put things on hold because of how short things were after COVID and how little time they had and how little budget left they had. So they had to write him out hastily and then rewrite the last 2 episodes. And I've talked about that here on the channel before, but I know a lot of you are newer to the channel, so you don't really, you may not have seen those videos. But it really threw a giant wrench into the ending of season 1, which a lot of people had a lot of complaints about, myself included. I did not enjoy the finale of season 1 at all. And I was lucky enough to be able to see some of the original ideas and storyboards and stuff they had for the show before Matt or Barney Harris left the show. And it would have been a much more satisfying and cohesive ending. So they talked a little bit about the problems they had with that and the trials they had with that. And then for the season 2 one, they talked about getting all back together, shooting on location, and some of the big shots, the big battles they did, shooting in Morocco. It was just a treat to see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. And Rafe Judkins really talked a lot about his journey with the Wheel of Time, how much he loved it, how much it meant to him when he started reading the books, especially with the reasons why he read the books. And it was at a very sort of crossroads or difficult time in his life, and it was just it was beautiful to see, and the emotion and the excitement and the sadness and all of the things that came through when he talked about the series really showcased how much of a fan of the series he actually is. Beautiful to see, and those are still up on the Prime app right now, so if you do subscribe to Prime, you want to watch them, I highly recommend you watch them both. They detail a lot of things that I've talked about here on the channel. They make things make sense, and they're just nice to see, and you get to see the cast interacting with each other, something that I've known about for a while here on the channel. I've talked about it. They're like a big family. They love each other, and it really shows on screen, and you get to see some of that in the behind the scenes too. Really cool thing. And then we get into the episode after that. So they showcased the very first episode of the season 3, and again, no Prime subscription required. Super smart marketing in my mind, because this is, if you don't have Prime, you get to see this episode, you're going to go, oh, maybe I really want to do subscribe to Prime. So if any of you folks out there are in the boat where you don't have Prime right now and you're thinking about watching the 3rd season, do me a favor, subscribe to Prime on the 13th, March 13th, and have the first thing you watch be season 3 of The Wheel of Time. That is a metric that Prime does look at, that Sony does look at, and it is something that they will be looking for. How many people resub to their channel to their service for this season. So if you don't have it right now, make sure you do it on the 13th. Wheel of Time's the first thing you watch. So they showcase the first episode. Again, super smart. The episode itself, just in very general terms, was amazing. In my opinion, and I'm going to be giving it a review on a review video that will come out after the 13th, it was one of the best episodes I've seen of TV ever. It was done really well. Tens of thousands or more people around the world get to watch it today for free. And then after that, it ended with the fan event in London, where they had a premiere for about 250 fans, where they gave out tickets and people got to go. And I was able to chat with a few people who went, and they said it was absolutely amazing. A lot of the cast, the crew, production team, they were all there. It was like a big, it wasn't even a big event. It was sort of an intimate, small, really nice event. And the innkeeper got on stage and was the moderator for it. Got to watch it live for the first time because he didn't watch the cold open, and then he got to talk with the showrunner and the cast afterwards. That part there, the talking with the showrunner and the cast afterwards, was what was shown right afterwards. And again, this was live. If you missed it, if you couldn't watch it live, it's unfortunate, but the fact that it was a live event, they could have a scrolling sort of a chat like you see in the Dusty Wheel or other live stream channels where people can interact with each other and kind of like get really excited about this. It was done really well and really smart. So again, 2 behind the scenes are still on Prime right now. The episode will not be there until the 13th when it drops with the rest of the episodes at midnight Pacific time. But there's that, and I don't believe they're going to showcase the Q&A with Matt. At least they haven't yet. Maybe it'll be released at some other point. It's not on Prime right now, and I can't find it anywhere else out there. So I will likely, I'm going to try to do a video on that at some point in the next little bit, but it won't be in today's video because there's just so much to digest from that Q&A. Now, at this point, you're probably asking yourselves, well, John, why are you not talking about the episode? Why are you not doing a full breakdown? Why are you not doing any of those things right now? This is going to lead into what you're going to see from me in the next couple of weeks. So let you guys know that this year I've been very fortunate to see things early, and the spoiler-free reviews do drop March 11th this year. So I am able to give you a spoiler-free review on March 11th of the entire third season, which I plan on doing. But it does mean that we can't talk about episode 1 just yet. We have to wait for that until 13th when everything drops. After March 13th, the embargo is up for the first 3 episodes, and we can talk about those here in the channel. So what are you going to see from me in the next little bit? I know a lot of you out there that are watching the channel right now are new to the channel, and I want to thank you all for joining What Up through this journey that is the Wheel of Time Season 3 and beyond. But a lot of you, and I'm going to say actually probably most of you, because I think I only had about 10,000 subscribers for Season 2, haven't done a full season with me yet. So you may not know what I do. So essentially what I do when a season drops is those first 3 episodes will drop March 13th at midnight. I will have a review out that is half spoiler free and half spoiler for episode 1 within minutes of the episode drop. Then likely the following morning, I will have, that episode review will be out just after midnight on the 13th. The following morning, on the morning of the 13th, I will drop my Easter egg video. So what I do is I go through every single episode and I pick out all the Easter eggs for book fans. Things that mean something to book fans that may not mean much to show fans. And I try to find them all, and I do a whole video on that. That following afternoon, you'll get a breakdown of episode 1. So on the 13th in the afternoon, you'll get 2 videos that day. The breakdown will be the storylines, the plot lines, the things we're going through with their episode 1 and how they relate to the books. That's what my breakdown videos do. So it kind of compares the two. So non-book fans get an idea of where some of the stuff's coming from, and book fans get an idea of why and how they made certain choices for the show in relation to the books. And then the following day, it'll be, again, 2 videos, the review and Easter eggs for episode 2. And the next day will be breakdown for episode 2, review for episode 3, and the following day will be the Easter eggs and breakdown for episode 3. This will lead into what we'll see later on that week. We'll do a news video because there's going to be tons of news. We'll be covering everything else. We'll do general videos and explain videos based on things that we've seen in those episodes that people have questions about. It's a full plate. So if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing, folks, because you're not going to miss much from us. Because once the season drops, there's going to be multiple videos every single day on the Wheel of Time. And for every single episode, I do a review, both spoiler and spoiler free. I do an Easter egg video, I do a breakdown, and then I do explain videos. There's some things in these episodes that people may want more explanation on. I do those as well. Plus, I have special guests on. I try to do as much as I can for the season because it's so much fun, folks. It really is. So that's what you're going to expect to see from me. So again, we're not going to talk about episode 1 until the 13th because I am fortunate enough to be able to give you folks out there a spoiler-free review of the entire season on March 11th, which makes me very, very happy to do, and I can't wait to drop that one for you folks. So it's going to be super cool. But again, if you didn't get to see the fan event today, the episodes do drop March 13th at midnight. So if there's anything you folks want to see prior to March 13th when this drops, let me know, and I will start working on them. I filmed a water video today, so water/water bond video based on someone's comment on my last video where they said they'd like to see a video on that. I do have an explained series here in the channel, folks. It's about 4 years old. It's a little dated. It's not so much polished. I've gotten much better at this YouTube thing in the last 4 years, but it does have a lot of good information. But basically what I'm doing is I'm kind of updating those ones to be a little more modern, I guess you'd say, with better information and just a better flow. A lot of passion in those videos, but I have gotten better at doing this since then. So now, let's talk about the contest, folks. So we're really close to 25K. Like, this was never a goal of mine until recently, because I never thought we would hit 25K ever. And I know we're going to hit it now prior to season 3, just based on how many new people are joining the channel every single day. And I want to thank everyone out there for that. You folks are amazing. It's been such a treat to have you folks join here on the channel. So we're doing a contest. And the contest, I think what we're going to do is, when I do my spoiler-free review on the 11th, what we will do is every single person that is a subscriber to the channel that comments on that video will be entered into a draw. And we will do a draw for, I'm going to do a draw for a couple of What Up shirts, and I will do a draw for a couple of What Up hoodies, and for those of you who live in the colder climates and know what they are, a couple of What Up toques as well. So they're like, I guess people in the States call them beanies, people in Europe may call them beanies, I don't know, toques. It's a winter hat, folks. So I'll do a draw for a few different things, probably grand total of 6 or 7 items from the comments on that video. So if you are a subscriber and you comment on that spoiler-free review that I'm dropping on the 11th, I will put your name into a draw, and random number generator will pick 6 or 7 people to get these prizes. It'll also be random which prize you get. So the first 2 people will get that I pick will get t-shirts. The next 2 people will get hoodies. The next 2 people will get toques. And again, if you want t-shirts, hoodies, toques, or any of those things, I have some coffee mugs as well. They're all in my shop on Fourth Wall, which is down in the description of the channel. You folks want any of this stuff, I set the prices so I don't make much money on them. They're more there for people who want these things, and I use the store more as a way to give away things for free. But yeah, so if you want something, you can order it from there, but the cost is going to be pretty much what Fourth Wall charges, with a very small profit margin, and I just kind of leave that there and use it towards giveaways. So if you want any one-up stuff, it's there. But yeah, so we'll do the contest for that spoiler-free review of the 3rd season, and I'll mention at the beginning of that, reminding you folks to comment and make sure you're subscribed, because if I pick a comment and I take a look and you're not subscribed to the channel, I'll move on to the next subscriber. And I will announce those winners during my spoiler/spoiler-free review of episode 1 that comes out on the 13th. So this is a thank you to all you folks out there on this journey to 25K with me. I do want to drop some merch to you guys, some things as a thank you. And for any of you out there who's joining me at JordanCon, so I'm at JordanCon this year too, folks. I mentioned this a couple times here in the channel. I will be at JordanCon. Me and my wife are heading down to Atlanta in April for JordanCon. I'm going to bring a ton of things with me. I'll bring a bunch of t-shirts, a bunch of stickers, a bunch of ribbons. Ribbons is a thing at JordanCon. My first one, but I've heard that that's a thing. So find me or my wife, and we will give out things until we run out of things to give out, if that makes any sense. We're showing up Thursday, and we're not leaving until Monday. So we are doing some things in the city as well, because we've never been to Atlanta before, so we're going to wander around, do the tourist thing, of course, but I will be there doing some panels, I believe, and some other stuff at JordanCon, so it's going to be a whole lot of fun. But yeah, so contest will start on that spoiler-free review of the season coming out on the 11th, and then we'll finish the contest on the review of episode 1 coming out on the 13th. So yeah, I want to thank you all very much again for all the support. Anyway, so yeah, Global Fan Event was today. It was super fun. The hype train is going, folks. Expect to see the Warder video from me tomorrow. Plus, I'll probably have some news video tomorrow too, maybe, possibly, or Monday. There's a bunch of news that happened in the last couple of days. Some new stuff about the season. Run times for each of the episodes come out. Game Radar brought that out. We're going to talk about a ton of other things in the next couple of days. So you want to make sure you're subscribed. Turn the notification bell on too, if you don't mind, so you can see when a new What Up video drops. Anyway, thank you all very much for sticking with me here to the very end. Here's to many more.